how big has the Christmas break been for you guys as far as practices are concerned with Joe and Sean back in the line? A few extra practices to get those guys back in the flow?
Yeah, I mean, we've had, 2 so far, and, we're heading into our third now and, getting ready for, our next opponent, just trying to get a little bit better, this week. And, the guys certainly had a good, few days off to recharge, get their bodies right, and then, also spend some time, those that are fortunate enough to with their families. And so, the guys have done well in practice, and it's kind of, we're just getting ready.
Has there been much of a curve with getting Joe and Sean assimilated back into the lineup? They've been practicing with them for months now, right? So have you guys kind of already there?
Yeah, I mean, Joe's been practicing the whole time, so like it's been pretty seamless for him. Sean obviously staying out as long as he did. It's more about getting his feet up under him, not really about him learning what to do. He kind of knows what to do already. He's been there, done that. It's more about getting him acclimated, to his own body again, and then also getting comfortable there. And he certainly, appears to be on the right track from that perspective. And then getting him, connected again with his teammates.
What did you like from Sean in his first game?
Yeah, just that he was out there, number one. Yeah, I mean, just that he was able to be out there on the court with the guys. It was happy for him. It's been a long road to get him back, and that part obviously was not something that we were all excited about, particularly him. But for him to be able to, have the fans cheer him on like they did, was huge. Had to feel good, had to make him feel good. But I thought he did well. He's a really good player, and I think he got off to, a solid start that first half. But you could see in the second half, he began to get a lot more comfortable, and that's what that game was about for him. Was to get him back out on the court and get him going again.
Suleimani and Aldridge, I think big games for Gardner-Webb in their last one against Akron. What do you see from them? What kind of challenges do they present? Yeah,
they're one of the fastest teams that we've played this year, if not the fastest. I think they actually are, from a tempo standpoint, the fastest team that we've played. They get it up the court quickly. And when you're watching film of these guys, a lot of times the camera can't keep up with how fast they're getting the ball up the court, and the shot's going up, pretty quickly. And so we've got to make sure that, we're balancing the court and getting to those guys that you just mentioned and others as well, because they can put pressure on you really quickly. They play a lot of guys. They're really well coached. And, I think they're poised for a great conference season. Again, like some of the other teams that we've played so far this year, they've played a really tough schedule, early on and had chances, and the majority of the games to, have been flipped, for them. They've lost 2 in OT and, won by 1 point, to Yale, and they've had some really tough, losses, but also, could be a positive sign for their team, as they, get past our game and head into conference play.
I know they like to go to the basket a lot. I saw the North Greenville game, points in the paint was
Yeah.
big for them. Has that been a point of emphasis?
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, they challenge you with their screening and their movement. They're constantly moving around, extremely fast. And so they get edges because of that when you're late. And if you don't, move as that ball's moving or mark your guy a little bit tighter, they're able to get downhill on you. And it's not just one guy. They're putting 4 and sometimes 5 guys out there at a time that, can put pressure on you at the rim. And so we've got to make sure that we're, attentive to that.
From a tempo standpoint, is there anything in particular that you want to see from you guys right now with Sean getting back into the lineup? Do you want to try and play faster?
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, we have more guys now. We weren't able to really, get out and pressure as much defensively because of the numbers, and didn't really make sense for us to wear guys like Zeb and Max out, pressuring up the court. We tried a little bit in the last game. We're just not there yet. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get that, situated and ingrained in our guys. So we'll pick our spots, but we certainly have that ability, and that was something that we were planning going into the season. And then offensively, I think we can play a little bit faster, and sometimes the defense can dictate that and help you with that. But even if we're not, pressing, I think our offense needs to pick it up just a little bit from a pace standpoint.
First game back from the break, what do you want to see from your team in like the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game?
Yeah, I mean, just competitiveness. Anytime you have a little bit of a layoff, there's always, as coaches, we always worry about, just a little bit of a relaxation, right, that teams can have or individuals can have, and we certainly can't afford that. We've got to be in attack mode from the very beginning, and I'm sure they will as well. And we're fully expecting a competitive game. This is a good team and a well-coached team that we're going to play. But we try not to make it about the other team. We try to make it about ourselves and what we're trying to get accomplished each game. And certainly we want to be the aggressor.
You talked about how well Jason played last game. How do you balance as a coach, wanting to ride the hot hands and a guy who you want to get more minutes with? We're deeper now. We got more bodies to cycle in. What's that balance like?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to just, each game as it comes and as the game begins to, go deeper into the game, you have to figure out, all right, what lineups are playing well together, whose day is it? And, certainly rotations are something that we're trying to work through right now. You mentioned Jason. He only scored 3 points in that game, but he played extremely well. And so I think that's the overall message to our team. You can impact this team in a big way by doing other things other than scoring, and with doing things with your defense, rebounding, just the hustle plays like you saw Jason make, and being in the right position like he was, delivering the ball to others like he did, throughout that game. And so, I think that's really the message for me with our guys is like, let's continue to figure out ways that you can help us winning outside of scoring, because the scoring is going to come for you.
I was going to say that about Kwani and also Mike, because I would assume with Sean back in, their minutes kind of will fluctuate moving forward.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't know. Kwani's playing well. Kwani's done a really nice job, recently, and is gaining confidence, right? Michael's probably in that little freshman mode right now where it's, he's kind of in that season where he's having to fight, some confidence things. And so we're trying to help him work through that and remind him of the reason why he was playing in the first place. And, he's a guy that can get to the basket off the bounce. He can defend you. He can rebound. And so we're trying to make sure that he focuses more on that than he does some of the other things that can hurt your confidence. And so, I told all of the guys yesterday, each of these guys has an opportunity to help us win games. Now, is that going to be the minutes that we all want? The reality is every player is going to have to sacrifice, all right, that we have on the roster right now. Even the leading scorers, right now. They may not be the leading scorers overall. They may not be, the guy that has the ball in their hands all the time. It just is what it is, because we've added 2 more players, to the mix. And so with that comes a responsibility for us to all be all about the team and sacrifice for one another, because ultimately, that's what's most important is VCU winning basketball games. And our guys are understanding of that and are excited about, us having a full roster again, which is really, a positive. Now it's more about, making sure that everybody's, just committed in the same way. And, I'm excited that all these guys are so far.
Have you had a chance to look around the A-10 much and take stock of what the rest of the conference has done in non-conference?
Yeah, we look at it, from a number standpoint every day. This time last year, the league was 13th, and right now it's like 8th or 9th, right in there, in Ken Palm. So obviously that tells you the league's stronger this year, from top to bottom. And so, we feel like, it's going to be a really competitive conference season. We have a ton of great coaches in our league and good individual players, that will help our league continue to grow. Because ultimately that's what you want. We want our league to be the strongest that it can possibly be. And so when we play games against one another, it really matters, not just within the conference, but outside, as well. And so, I feel like it's getting better. We'll see. It's certainly not where we want it to be overall. And, we want to be up in that, where the Mountain West and Pac-12 and some of those other leagues are. And eventually I think we'll get there. But, I think it's going to be a really fun conference season, pretty open.
All good?
Yeah.
All right.